Hey AV, welcome to Arts and Crafts. I'm Justina, this year's Arts and Crafts Coordinator. I just want to say that it is such an amazing opportunity to be a part of the virtual village. It is the perfect way to take camp home. Camp is actually coming to you in your homes, so I hope that you are just as excited as I am. I have so many crafts in store. Some are super simple, and then others are a little bit more complex. So no matter what your artistic ability is, I hope you're joining me. I'll be walking you through each craft step by step, so you could all definitely take part. So for today's video, we're going to be making something called a cardboard stamp. I'm going to show you a tiny sneak peek of what mine came out like, but I'm not going to show you the actual paper that I stamped it on. So this is the cardboard stamp that I made, but the paint and all that other fun stuff will come later. So that's just a sneak peek into today's video. In order to get started, you are going to need cardboard, a pencil or pen or Sharpie, scissors, glue, any type of glue except a glue stick. I don't think it would hold the cardboard on properly. And white paper or whatever paper that you want to stamp your image onto. So in order to get started with this one, you're going to find a piece of cardboard from around your house and you're going to cut out the shape that you want your art piece to be. So I'm going to cut it to this rectangular section. You could rip cardboard too, but so I cut my cardboard because it's easier than ripping it for me, and I don't want to ruin the shape that this part is. So now once you have your background piece, you're going to take your excess pieces of cardboard and you're going to use them to draw an image of what you want your stamp to be. So I did like a leafish figure. You don't have to do this. You could do anything from flowers to a sun to a Batman symbol, anything you want. You could also just print out an image and then trace it onto your excess cardboard. I already have mine drawn so that I could show you how to draw it in Sharpie. So I started with the stem and all my leaves are teardrop figures. So it's kind of like a U-shaped bottom and you come around and you meet it at a point. Then you're gonna come up further. You're gonna do the same thing. So once you finish, mine looks like this. Once you do that, you're gonna take a pair of scissors and you're just gonna cut exactly what you drew. Sometimes if you cut out all the excess cardboard, it actually helps you use the scissors more precisely around the image. So now once you have your shape cut out, what you're going to do is you're going to glue it down onto your base shape. So I personally am using Gorilla Glue. You don't have to use that. You could use Elmer's glue, any type of glue, except I wouldn't use a glue stick because I don't think it would hold the cardboard on enough. So I'm actually going to just pour some out and then take a paintbrush and just put the Gorilla Glue on because I don't want to touch it. It's extremely strong. So the opening to my glue was too thick to just pour it onto my image, so I used a paintbrush. You don't have to do that. If you can pour it on directly, that's great because you want to go as fast as possible so that it doesn't dry. So what you're going to do once you have your whole image glued is you're going to take it, you're going to flip it, and you're going to just stick it right onto your base cardboard piece. I'm going to take another piece of excess cardboard and just flatten my image with it. It's okay if glue comes out of the sides. I wouldn't worry about that. Because cardboard is so thick, when you paint it and stamp it on, anything that's on your base piece won't be stamped on. So you could take it and keep pressing your image down until it's completely flat and stuck. You could do so with something even thinner and press each point down. You really want to make sure it is flat and stuck on. And now what you're going to do is just wait for your image to dry. So once your image is dried, what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever color you want your stamp to be. You could pour it out on some extra pieces of cardboard. Because mine's a leafy figure, I'm going to mix a few different types of green acrylic paint and add a little bit of yellow in there. I'm using Crafts acrylic paint, but you could really use any paint. It doesn't even have to be acrylic. Acrylic just dries relatively fast. So I'm gonna like mix my greens together and start putting it on my image. You really want to glob it on. So you want it to be thick because it's going to be stamping onto whatever paper you choose. So once your entire image is painted, make sure you go over whatever sections are not globby and wet enough one more time so that when you stamp it on, a majority of the shape comes off. If you have points, how my image does, you're going to want to make sure all those points are wet. It's okay if some of your base cardboard gets a little bit wet with paint because cardboard is so thick that won't be coming off in your stamp. And once it's globby enough, what you're going to do is take a piece of paper that you want to stamp your image onto, take it, align it, and just push it on. Press it down with some pressure. And then lift it up. Sometimes if your piece gets stuck, you could just peel it right off. And then your image is stamped on. So once your image is stamped onto your paper, you could wait for it to dry and touch it up if you didn't like the way it came off. What I like a lot is that the paint kind of blends together when you use different colors. So you could decorate around your image that you stamped. You could also wipe this carefully off with a paper towel and then go over it again in a different color and stamp that on. So if you have a flower, you could do separate color flowers, or you could just wait for even the paint to dry on the cardboard and then repaint it over in a different color. So that's why I like using acrylic, because it does dry fast and then you'll be able to use other colors relatively quickly. So again, this is what mine came out like. But I would love to see what you guys produce because you might have not made the same stamp as me. And if you did, I'd still love to see it. So you guys could take pictures or videos of whatever you made and send it to james@avcamp.org and make sure that your subject is A and C underscore and the activity name. So today would be cardboard stamps. So you're going to want to tune in next week because some of your images might be featured, and that's super exciting. I hope you're all safe and healthy and super hype about virtual camp. I have so much in store for you, so continue tuning in. See you next week.